Well, before I get going on the car show stuff, I'll just give you a quick update on where we are with the hardtop. Just to recap, I've reinforced where the front brackets mount. Those will have to be drilled out. I've reinforced all along the inside of the lip on both sides and across the front, along this side here, and all the way up to here. Now, it does need to get cleaned up, but this is good and solid. Now the top is definitely a lot more rigid than what it was. So the next steps with this is clean up all the extra here and sand these runs down a little bit so it's relatively smooth. And then we can get started on the outside. I'll just get this flipped over. Now I don't know how well this is going to show up in the video here, but you can see there's lots of cracking and that in the gel coat. So I'm going to be sanding this down to get rid of all of this cracking through here and then refinishing it. So that's for a later date. And for now, I'm going to show you how I get ready to go to a car show. Well, in a couple of days, I have a car show coming up, and I've come up with a rough idea of a checklist that I'm going to develop further for all of the car shows we're going to go to. These are in no particular order, so I need to check what time we're supposed to check in, what time it goes till. Do we need to register, and can we do that online, or is it done on site? I have my sign and my stand. I have my model and Froggy. I'll show you that in a second. My binder, I'm going to make sure it's up to date. Some cleaning supplies and a chair or two, depending if it's just myself or both my wife and I are going. Some snacks and water, make sure I've got my stickers, and figure out how we're going to get to the show, especially if it's out of town, whether I'm going to need an umbrella, either for shade or for rain, hopefully not rain. And again, if it's a little ways out of town, sometimes we'll go and we'll stay overnight, or we'll tie in visits with family and that. So whatever travel plans are, and again, that ties in with the figuring out what my route is going to be, and also a weather check. If it's just me going, I'll just have the small chair to fold up and put in the back, but these ones collapse, so we're both going to this next show, so I'll have those chairs. My sign, the frame is from IKEA, so it's relatively inexpensive. The stand itself is made from a dollar store foam core and with a bit of bracing across the back, and I can put a coffee cup or something heavy on there if it's windy. When I got my license plates, there were two of them, but Alberta, you only have to carry one. So that's just all collapses down flat. I can put that in the back of the car. I have a soft-sided cooler that will have our snacks and water and what have you. I've got a soft-sided bag here with all my cleaning supplies in there, and some basic tools just in case, like to be prepared. And you notice this is all soft-sided, and we'll be using a backpack, soft-sided backpack. This is a paper cutout that I can have in the back of my binder. So I'll have that showing in the car, and quite often a lot of kids like this one. And this is actually from Moss Motors. I don't know if it's still available on their website or not, but I just take a few copies of that for the kids. I have a model of the Bugeye that I made, and this is Froggy, the mascot, which one of my daughters made for me. And if it's a colder day, she actually made me a little red sweater that matches the interior that I'll put on. The cover of the binder is basically just a smaller version of the sign. And then let's move that out of the way. And this just goes through some of the story of the car. I don't go into a lot of detail because I do have a QR code on the cover and on the sign that will take you right to the YouTube channel. I just got some of the pictures that the previous owner sent me before I acquired the car. A little bit of a story leading up to getting the car started, and just a few pictures showing some progress as we worked on it. And of course, on July 15th, 2023, the car moved under its own power for the first time in over 40 years. Some of the suppliers, some of the local ones, some of the international ones. and some technical information about the car. You know, the engine, what the gearbox is, what I've done on the brakes, the seats, and a bit of that there. And just a little bit of bragging here with the second place in foreign sports at 2024 Calgary World of Wheels. And then a bunch of media stuff, some articles that have been written about the Bugeye. And this is the latest one. I was interviewed by the Spokes Magazine, which is the official publication of the MG Car Club Western New York Center. That appeared in their April 2024 issue. They sent me a bunch of questions and answered those. So, and then the paper cutouts. So that's what I have in the binder. I just make sure that's up to date. So that's all down there. Make sure I've got some of my stickers. I have some of my older stickers that I've converted to or made into fridge magnets. And then I have a number of my latest Econobox garage stickers. And you'll find in my community tab on the homepage for the channel that I'll put in a couple of days in advance which shows I'm going to be at. So if you can make it any of those shows, be sure to stop by, say hello, and grab one of those stickers if you like. For the car itself, I've got it all cleaned and polished up. I do have a couple of things I need to clean up yet and tidy up on the inside, but the outside's all done. Just polish that up. So basically we're all ready to go. Wheels are, all the chrome's polished up, car's polished up, glass is all clean, and then I'll do some touch-ups with my cleaning supplies when we get there. Well, there is a saying that if a British car isn't leaking, it doesn't have any fluids in it. So to help with drips, I do take along at least one of these absorbent pads that I'll just put underneath the engine. So I just want to make sure any drips are captured in the pad rather than getting on the street. If the show and shine or show that we're going to is out of town and we're staying overnight in a hotel, I do take along my car cover, and that will give us some protection and a little bit of added security. I do have a cable lock on this that goes underneath the car, but I'm not going to need it for this show. So let's get loaded up and head on down to the Bonus Auto Parts Show and Shine. Pays to get down to the show early. I arrived at about 7 o'clock in the morning. The show didn't start till about 10. But when I got there, there was already like 30 or 40 cars lined up with spots claimed and saving spots for friends and what have you. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for joining me. The Bonus show was a big success, a lot of interest generated in the car. And it was nice to see some of the younger kids really express an interest. Now, I didn't get a chance to take a lot of photos at the meet, but what I will do, as soon as Bonus Auto Parts has posted their photos, I will put a link to those photos in the comment section below. So a day well spent, the weather was great, and the crowds were good too. If you'd like to catch up on work on the hardtop, I will put a link to the previous video up in the top corner. And if you want to see where this whole project started, I'll put a link to that video in the bottom corner. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Ian. This is the Econobox Garage. We'll see you next time.